Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today, in early help in your soloing abilities, we are now going to talk about double stops. Okay, everybody knows how to play double stops. I don't argue that. But do you really understand double stops? That's what we're going to talk about and demonstrate today. So let's just get right to it. And be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. I think the first time that double stops really made an impact in my understanding of what they are and the power of them was when I started to learn the song Johnny B. Goode. Well, we all know that's a Chuck Berry tune. Well, I worked on Johnny Winter's version from Johnny Winter's and Live, which featured Rick Derringer on rhythm guitar and second lead. And I just was really taken by how these double stops just made the song bloom into this amazing thing. I later went back and learned Chuck Berry's intro to Johnny B. Goode, go back to the source material, right? And I also was learning songs by the Rolling Stones that used double stops. Midnight Rambler was one of the songs, and also just some of the other things like Brown Sugar and what was that? Gimme Shelter. Lots of application of double stops here to show how powerful they really can be. And I'm sure you can think of other songs that you've played that use double stops. So we're going to have two examples here for you to learn. But of course, first, we have a rhythm track for you to learn and record into your looper to play these two passages over. All right, so let's get started with that. All right, the rhythm is pretty straightforward. You got a B minor and a D and an A and an F sharp. Now, you can go from this F sharp to this B minor if you want, making that transition pretty easy, but really that's easier for some than jumping. I tend to prefer this one because it's fuller sounding. So here's what you're going for. That's the idea. So I'm playing somewhere around 80, 84 beats a minute. You don't have to play that fast. What I want you to do is pause, learn the progression, straight eighths, get your transition between the chords really smooth, and don't scuff the and of 4 just to get to the next chord. What I mean is a lot of people will do this. Right? 2 and 3 and 4. They'll do that so they can get here. Try not to do that. See, I got there fairly easy, right? And that's the idea. Clean execution, clean transitions. So use this as an opportunity to also work on your rhythm skills and get those transitions so you're not scuffing the and of 4 just to get to the D and then to the A and the F sharp. Okay? And then smooth it out. Put it to a metronome to pace yourself so you're not rushing. This is very important. Never rush. Get everything happening right where it's supposed to be and at a nice, steady, consistent tempo. All right? Once you've got that, you can move forward. Here's the first melody. It's just 4 bars long. And we're going to start this melody out with a nod to Chuck Berry. So since we're in the key of B, we start on the 7th fret on the 1st and 2nd string. And we go to 10 with our 4th finger, 9 with the third finger, back to 7, 9 on the second and third strings with our third finger, first finger at 7, third finger at 9 on the fourth string. You can use all downstrokes to make it a little bit more aggressive of an attack. That's okay. So, pause. If you're a fan of the additive process, like me, learn this first measure. Learn it well. Learning solos in bite-sized pieces actually benefits you because you're working on smaller bits and mastering those more easily rather than looking at the greater whole and stumbling through it, right? So work this one out after pausing the video and then restart when you're ready to take on measure number 2. The second measure, we're on the second and third strings exclusively through this whole measure. So we start at 7, first finger, right? Now, beat 2, you're going to have your first finger or your fourth finger at 10 on the second string and your third finger at 9 on the third string, and you're going to bend the third string only. And so you're going to hold the line with your fourth finger and you bend 2 and. Now you'll notice you play once, bend up for 2, and then release the bend for and without playing it a second time. 2 and. And then you're back to 7 for 3. You move up to the 9th and 10th fret on the third and second string respectively. Play that for 4. Hammer with your third finger on the third string at 11 for the and of 4. 4 and. Here's what you're going for. So work on that, having paused the video, and get it down. Then the next thing you want to do is put measures 1 and 2 together, making sure you understand these two measures before moving on. So you will do this. Whoops. At a nice and easy pace. Get that down before moving on to the third measure. Make sure you got the first and the second measure figured out. And to further smooth it out, bring in the metronome and find out what tempo you can play this at, smooth and flowing. Remember, quality of execution is what you're going for here. The third measure continues where we left off. Remember, the end of the second measure, you did that hammer-on thing. Well, remove your third finger and keep those fingers in place, and that's the first beat of the third measure. The second beat, you play it again, but you're going to slide up 2 frets on the and of 2, so 2 and. Then 3, you come back to your starting place for 3 and 4. So here's what you're going for. Now, I caution you, lock these fingers so that when you push up 2 frets, they're going to play what they're supposed to play. Sometimes your first finger will push up like that, or your second finger will just lag behind like that and not quite make where they're supposed to go. So it's important to learn to lock them together the way they're supposed to be so that you get this. A nice clean slide. Okay? Pause, learn that, learn it well. Then what you want to do is play all three measures together and bring in the metronome to help you get this smooth and flowing at a tempo where you can actually play it. Remember, quality of execution is what you're going for here. So the first three measures should sound like this. All right, pause, make it happen. Again, use the metronome. This is going to help you determine the tempo at which you're going to record your rhythm into your looper. All right, the fourth and final measure. It's on the second and third string exclusively. We're going to be third and fourth finger on the third and second string respectively. And you just start playing. Move your fourth finger up one fret. Then slide down to 9 on the third string, 8 on the second string. And then slide down again to 6 on the third string and 7 on the second string. Right? 6 on the third string, 7 on the second string. All right? Oops, let me do that again. There we go. So part of this is your third finger becomes the guide when you move between this to here, and then your second finger becomes the guide to get you down to here. Third finger slides down, second finger slides. All right. Pause. Play through this. Get it down. And then you're going to add it to the first three measures to help you learn to play all four of them together as a single unit. All right. You played through this, you put it to a metronome, and you pretty much have your tempo figured out. So that's the tempo you should be recording into your looper so that now you can play the melody over the top of the rhythm to give it more body and context, right? So here's what you're going for. 3, 4. So what you want to do is pause and really dig into getting this working for you. Now, unlike when you just play on your own, when you're playing over an actual rhythm track, the rhythm track is relentless. It's not going to flex to adopt and adapt to your tempo changes where you struggle to play a part correctly and tend to slow down or maybe want to speed up through other elements. You have to learn to pace yourself and keep time. So if you fumble and stumble through this while you're trying to play over the rhythm track, that's okay. That happens. It may also mean you need to re-record the rhythm track a couple of beats a minute slower, and that's okay too. You can always slowly bump up the speed to play this a little quicker if you want to learn to play these things at a faster tempo. All right? So be honest with yourself. If you need to re-record the track slower so you can actually play over it, that's what matters more than speed. Remember what I said, speed is of secondary value if you can't play it at a slow tempo. Faster tempo is just going to be frustrating, and we don't want you to be frustrated. So take your time here before moving forward. Learn this solo, learn to play it over the backing track relatively free of errors. All right? To continue this lesson, please go over to my patreon.com Outsmart Your Guitar channel and subscribe at least the Backstage Pass level and become a patron and support my efforts to continue providing you with great lessons. In doing so, you will get access to the written material, the expanded versions of not just this, but many other lessons, and a lot of material that is not featured here as well. All right, so take your time, learn this stuff, learn it well, and you will become a better player for the time you take to work things out. I want to thank you again for spending the time learning the things I have to offer you. It means a lot to me to help you to become a better player, okay? And as you know, I have lots more. So when I have the next video ready, I'll be posting it, and we will see you there.